Tonight on the Ospreys Eyrie, I'm joined by Josh and Nick to talk through the news of Welsh rugby, have a look back at the Leinster game just gone, go through our potential signings for next season, and have a look forward to the Ireland game coming up this weekend. Stay tuned. Good evening, gents. How are we doing?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Zach.
Good, good, good. I think it's best if we just crack on. A little bit of news, nothing too life-changing. Let's start off with some it's mainly positives, mind. I think the first positive is Dewey Lake looks like he's recovered from his injury. He's currently training with the Wales squad. Pictured with Matt Sherratt earlier today, which looks quite good news. Looks in decent nick. Hopefully, could be back for Glasgow. If not, maybe feature for Wales later for Six Nations. You guys excited?
Yeah, very excited. I do hope that they have common sense. He needs a game, doesn't he? And an ideal game would be, even if he just comes off the bench, he comes up to Glasgow with us and as a run out there, 30, 40 minutes, whatever.
Yeah, agreed. I think especially with our slight shortage at the moment at hooker, I think that would make the most sense. And yeah, that still gives him 2 rounds in the Six Nations to hopefully stake his claim for the Lions. Because I do think it's he's still an outside bet probably with his injury at the beginning of the tournament, but he's one of the best hookers available. So yeah, I really hope he gets his opportunity.
Yeah.
I do really think he's looking at that third hooker spot after Keenan and Kelleher and Kelleher. Sheenan and Kelleher. I made the same mistake earlier, it's fine. They're the same pair in my head, leave me alone. But I really think he's just awesome. I'd argue he's probably the best all-round hooker in
Yeah.
Britain Islands, but I also don't see Andy Farrell starting him in a million years.
Yeah, I
So
think I definitely have him because I if you say Sheehan's like nailed on starter, I'd say potentially at the moment. Um, I'd definitely have him as an impact sub. I think he adds more impact than Kelleher would. Um, and I can just see him being a really like proper Andy Farrell player. Like he's really tough. He speaks really well. So he'd be a good leader coming off the bench, and yeah, brilliant around the park. So yeah,
I
I hope he goes.
I just remember his brilliant performance off the bench against South Africa away under PVAC in that first test,
Yeah.
Oh,
where he was just immense. And
yeah.
I can only imagine him doing it in a slightly different coloured red shirt.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
not the
Facing off
And he had a quiet word with Malcolm Marks as well, didn't he, in that game?
exactly. Yeah.
In other news and more Wales-related news, Gloucester forward skills coach Rhys Thomas has joined the Wales coaching setup alongside Jonathan Humphreys and Adam Jones to work with the forwards, which I think is quite good, as Gloucester have been well on the tear this season for Gloucester standards.
Yeah. I think really interesting appointment. If you look at our attacking shape and the forwards' job within that attacking shape, it looked like from the first couple of games, the forwards were playing quite far behind the gain line, and some of their dummy lines probably weren't as convincing as they should have been. And if you look at Gloucester's shape, they like to play with width, but those forwards runners are always an option. And with him being the Gloucester like forward skills coach, I think yeah, he can hopefully add another dimension to our attack and hopefully dovetail nicely with Sherratt.
And I think for Sherrett, understandably, as if we when we start thinking about a new coach, you want to bring people you've worked with before, people you trust, and for the squad, it's going to be great for them this week. They're going to have some couple of different voices. It's been a bit of I would imagine, a sort of tense environment. We've got a situation now where let's just enjoy the rest of the games and put in a good performance.
I think it's nice that we're going to have some coaches that have played some winning rugby in this decade, and I think it's making me quietly excited for the Ireland game, and we'll get onto that later, I'm sure. Last piece of news this week, as far as I'm aware, is the under 18s beat the Dragons in the under 18s championship semi-final and onto a final. Well, they'll be playing Cardiff at the Cardiff Arms Park, which is feels a little bit unfair given with a higher seed, but it's a great result for the 18s and means it's given that Scarlets are out, it feels thoroughly winnable.
We've beaten them already once, so it's definitely going to be a
Mm.
good game, I would think.
Yeah.
Scarlett's bottled it big time. All that chat about their under 18s being the next best thing.
Get
Yeah.
used to Cardiff, man. I thought Scarlets were supposed to beat Cardiff. That's just how it works.
Zach, I've just got some news on injuries. Got some good news and bad news. So, which do you want first?
Let's get the bad news out of the way.
Okay, well, I was fortunate enough to bump into and chat with Reece Henry and Lewis Lloyd at the weekend. Unfortunately, Reece Henry confirmed he is definitely out for the rest of the season. He's had the op, it's gone well, but he's out. He won't be playing again till the next season. Uh, Lewis Lloyd, as we I think alluded to last week or the week before, has had an op. However, he is hoping to be back for the last few games of the season. So, as I say, it's good and bad news.
That is quite good and bad news. It's a real shame Reece Henry, I think, was set to try and make a breakout this year, and he's just
Mm.
hardly got any minutes due to injury, which is really sad because I think we all miss Big Sexy.
Okay.
That is sound note to end things on news-wise, but let's make a move on and talk about another sour note, mind. The Leinster game. Good game, mind. Enjoyed, thoroughly worth watching on Friday night. How's the experience at the Liberty Gents?
You go first, Josh.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I managed to win a raffle actually with the Ospreys. I think it's Ospreys Sports. Maybe no, someone at the Ospreys. Basically, big shout out to Neil Navarra because I managed to win a watch. Um, and it was a Christophe Deschamps watch. Very fancy.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, I was over the moon with that prize. It was a brilliant prize. So
And there was me. I was thinking I was doing well, but which I'll tell you about when you finished.
yeah, so even despite the result, I was still came away reasonably happy. Yeah.
do you have a watch on you now?
Um, I I can go grab it if you guys want to have a look.
Go, let's have a gander. There's nothing better for this pod to do. What did you win then? How was your day so good today?
Well, I treated my partner to a Valentine's Day gift of hospitality in the Nest. It was fairly quiet, but it was a nice opportunity to meet a couple of the players and so on. As I said, met Lewis and Reese before the game, and Keelan popped in post match as well. So that was really nice. But I actually predicted the score exactly correct. And I was trying to speak. I was speaking to Keelan, and the guy was going, "Oh, the winner is Nick Williams, Nicholas Williams, Nick Williams. Is he here?" And then my partner said, "Nick, it's you." So anyway, and then some other guy said, "Oh, I'm Nick Williams," but he was just joking. And so I have a signed match ball from by the Ospreys from Friday night.
What was
I
your prediction? Did you get it bang on? Or
Yeah, yeah, I did.
oh, fair play. Did you say that was a Valentine's Day gift as well?
I did. She was very lucky, wasn't she?
That is a great gift. That is amazing.
I feel left out now.
Yeah, so yeah, there's the watch. Yeah.
It's that looks very swazzy, mind.
Yeah,
Very nice.
not a massive watch wearer, but I'm
No,
not going to say that it's very, very good price to be fair.
Yeah,
good.
cannot complain. You know what else I can't complain about? Harry Deaves. Is he good at rugby?
He's a good lad.
He's just a little bit good, isn't he? He looks like the next. He looks like another Wales seven, ready to be born and never play.
Ridiculously good. Yeah, because we were linked with Tom Hooper, weren't we, previously? And in a way, I'm kind of glad we haven't signed him because we have such unbelievable depth now in our back row that I wouldn't want to be holding back people like Deaves and restricting their game time. That performance I thought was absolutely outstanding on Friday night.
We've also got Dan Jemini, I think that's how you pronounce his surname, for the under 20s. He's playing in the second row, but I think he's better suited to the back row. He made his debut for us in Ulster, so he's another one of that group. Obviously, we've got Will Griffiths, we've got Rhys Davis when he's back from injury, can play blindside as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, we've got plenty of depth there. I was actually walking out the stadium, and Harry Deaves was in front of me. Uh, and he's not massive at all. He's actually quite small. So when you think how much you know go forward he gives us, that's
Yeah.
just through obviously strength through and power training, but it's also a bit like Keith. It's determination as well.
He just
Just
wants
keep
it more.
those legs pushing, pumping.
Oh, definitely. I think, yeah, I definitely think it comes as well from if you look at someone like Jack Morgan, and he's not the biggest, but he's
No,
probably one of the best carriers at 7, probably in
yeah.
the Six Nations. If you look at meters after contact and things like that. So I think it goes to show just having those players around the squad of high quality, it does pass on to the other members of the squad. And yeah, we're very blessed with back row options.
And he's learning from the best, doesn't he? With tips. And did you see the kick he put in? Very Tipperick-esque.
Cultured. Who needs
cultured,
a?
cultured left foot.
If Warren Gatland knew about that, he'd be starting us or something.
Who? Who?
It was a great performance by Harry Deaves. One of quite few standouts, it feels. I feel like it's a very good team performance. Defensively, we looked really quite solid against what ended up being quite a fully loaded, not fully loaded, but well loaded Leinster side.
I think that's one of the few occasions where they haven't got a bonus point. I think most matches they're very well drilled. But I think they scored 3 tries, didn't they?
Yeah.
And also, I'm sure we'll talk about the fact that we scored 3 tries. I don't think many teams have done that either against them this season.
I think we're the team in the league who's come closest to beating them so far. And I'd argue that if we got slightly luckier, maybe a decision going one way, a penalty having a 10 left on the pitch on the final whistle, it could have gone our way, which is
Oh, yeah,
quite sad. But it just inspires me that this group is so much more than the sum of their parts.
yeah. The fight was amazing. I do get a little bit. My partner says, they can still do it. And I am a bit, oh, well, they'll pull ahead now and we'll lose by 12, 15 points forever. And the fight was amazing. And just say, Yestin Hopkins was put in a difficult position. He went for it, didn't he? And
Horrible
I
place
think,
for a kick. Off the
yeah,
outside of the right, but 5 meters from the touchline, trying
yeah,
to get into the 22.
yeah. So, and I think we would have got something out of it if only a penalty to go, to level it. But I think I would have backed us to score another driving, a maul try. But no fault to him. And as I say, I predicted the score before the game. So, and to take a point I guess I'd have been quite happy with that before, the actual game.
I think 2 months ago, if you said we are going to get a point against Leinster, you take it. It's better than we did last year at the end of the day, which is nice. It's a significant performance upgrade on what we were doing last year. It feels like, in the sense that it's just the consistency's back, which is nice. It's a consistent performance. It looks like we've really grown as a group and able to take on the higher caliber players. Because at the end of the day, I think we weren't really beat by Leinster's system. We were beat by a couple standout moments from members of their squad who are on more money than our salary cap combined.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I always sometimes, well, I sometimes prefer watching it on TV because I feel like you can watch the game a bit better. So it's difficult to sort of analyze it sometimes in the stadium. But a couple of things I did notice was I thought Kieran Hardy looked really sharp when he came on. I think he's
Yeah,
again been a really true signing, and I don't always spot it on TV, but in the stadium you could tell the height he was getting on his box kicks. Um, really able to kick to compete and actually contest for the ball. So I was really impressed with that side of his game. And yeah, you mentioned Hopkins missing touch at the end, and it was the reaction of the players around him. All the players came up to him at the end and sort of, picked him up again, dusted him off, and that kind of shows the spirit in the team and the togetherness. That no one was sort of, berating him. Everyone was, fully behind him. He's, as Nick was saying, he was put in a difficult situation, and I'd always say I'd rather my kickers go for it rather than play
oh,
safe.
yeah,
He could have
definitely.
easily gone safe and found the 10-meter line, but he went for broke, and occasionally it's going to go wrong. But I'd rather he sort of pushed the dial a little bit and went for it and tried to put us within driving line out range.
Every other day is not something he's ever done before either. It's not
No,
like he'd practice it in training. It's something he'd be doing for the first time at home against Leinster in the 90th, in the 79th
yeah,
minute.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to feel bad for him at the end of the day.
Just congratulations to Jack Welsh as well on his 50th appearance for the Ospreys, and Will Austin, I think, who came on right at the very end for his
Yeah,
first
yeah.
cap as well. So congratulations to both of them.
He looked decent for 5 minutes, Wilson.
Yeah,
Looks accomplished. Something to come, certainly.
yeah,
I think only other standout, one more mention for Cam Jones, who looks
yeah.
really good off the bench.
Yeah.
Made not the biggest difference, but helped shore up the scrum just a little bit. And obviously got his try very nicely taken.
Yeah. To be fair, it probably helps. He came on similar times Slimani went off. So it's I did feel for Garen Phillips a little bit, scrummaging against, well, one of France's best tight heads. But you learn an important lesson from that game, I'd imagine.
To be
I
fair,
think
it's not the first time Samani's done a job on a Welsh tighthead.
No, and probably won't be the
No.
last.
I think we were bit great that obviously Will Austin got his start, but I think we were a little bit unlucky that Sam Parry was due to start. Ethan Lewis had a good game,
Yeah.
but I think him being starting and then Ethan coming on would have perhaps made a little bit of a difference to that, because it was those couple of penalties that went against us in the scrum. And I'm not saying they went penalties; it might have go the ref there.
Mm.
They had a nudge on, so that. But I think possibly we might have been better able to cope with that had Sam Parry been starting and Ethan Lewis was coming off the bench for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
But it's good performance. Can't complain at a point against Leicester. It's better than most teams in the league this season. There's a point we're going to get above everyone else. Let's move on then and have a quick look at some response from around Australia as a whole. Nick, if you have them to hand, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Sorry, I've only got one.
Oh
So
dear.
apologies. This is from a Kevin Evans, and his 3 words of depth of bench, and that
Oh,
perhaps our bench wasn't quite strong enough in the end.
maybe not strong enough at the end, but certainly we gave him a go, and that's all that we could really want, I'd say, at least. Do you pick any out, Josh, if you saw it?
Yeah, I'll have a look. Sorry, I'm just having a look now. So 3 words. So, um, Mark P put Valiant in defeat, or bloody awful ref. We haven't touched on the referee yet, but I just think it's the standard of officiating in the URC as a whole is absolutely shocking.
It's
Um,
the breakdown was a bit of a free for all, to be fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tim put Harry frickin' Deaves, which I think we covered off nicely.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, Andy put Snyman different gravy. He was superb, but as you say, you've got Snyman coming off the bench who'd probably be on more than most of our squad combined, to be fair. So
You
Yeah,
could probably say that our bench is on about the same amount of cash as RJ Snyman himself.
yeah, yeah.
yeah, 100%. But I think, yeah, Lance mentioned in Nick's interview last week that he is looking to bring in some of those big names. And I think during the international periods, this is the time where they really count and they really stand up. You look at Slimani and Snyman, I genuinely think without those two on the field, probably would have had a different result. So if we can make not similar signings, but
Yeah.
signings of the same ilk, that would be brilliant. And I think that would make a massive difference.
I've also had dreams, don't worry.
Yeah. Uh, oh, to be fair, I liked your comment, Zach. Deeves for PM. I'll definitely be on board for
What do you mean?
that.
Oh, he's
I
a
felt
Welsh one. First Minister.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I just remember Deeves, I think, after playing for Wales in the 20s, immediately then coming out and shouting on his Twitter about how much he hates the Tories. And you know what? A lot of respect for that man.
Yeah, fair to
But
say a lot of love for Harry Deaves on the three words, and rightly so.
yeah, no, he was superb.
Deserve man of the match. Let's move on from the Leinster game then and have a look at some other results in the region on the weekend gone by, because I imagine it's
Okay,
been fairly busy.
yeah, very busy. Obviously, a lot of games unfortunately called off through waterlogged pitches, but there were quite a few games as well. Uh, so in we had in League West, Admiral League One West, Aberystwyth 47, Pencloud nil. So they had a long journey home after a big defeat. Tenby United 36, Pontarddulais 12. In 2 West, Lucha 26, Betus 20. 4 West, Paul's Bay had a massive win, 90 points to 19 against Panther Fanon. West Central, Morriston 8, Birchgrove 35, bit of a local derby there. Lanterfyllon 21, Aberavon Green Stars 15, Vardre 26, and Swansea Uplands 29. I think they're having a very good season, the Uplands there. Uh, West Central, Maesteg Celtic 10, Mumbles 23, Resolving 18, Brinkethin 13, West Central, another West Central, Kevin Kirkborough 31, Brinkhawk 22, Nantamore 19, Baglan 18, Tonmouth 15, Neath Athletic 18, Tonner 16, South Gower come away with a win away with 20, West Central then, Cwmgors 13, Rhugos 30, Gleis 13, Britain Ferry 14. So a very close game there between those two teams. Maesteg 29, Pontardawe 22, Pontarryd Event 3, Seven Sisters 38. The Bucks last week, this Cardiff Uni 31, Swansea Uni 38. So that was a good win. Division National Championship West, Crymych 0, Tondi 37, Dunmont 13, Llanelli Wanderers 24, Maesteg Quins 0, Gowerton 35, Ystalyfera 25, Ammanford 12. And the Premiership then, unfortunately, Neath lost away at Ystrad Rhondda 26-19, and a win in the Super Rugby Cymru Cup, Pool A, Bridgend 27 beat Cardiff 19. So well done to Bridgend. I
Good
think
win,
we've
that.
got Scott Baldwin coaching there with Bradley Davis. So yeah, hopefully that'll win will set them up now for some further wins as the season progresses. So that's about it. Thank you.
Good win for Bridgend there, must be said. Sure, the SRC lads will be having a chat about it on the pod later this week, which you can check out by checking out the Rap YouTube channel. Make sure you drop us a like and subscribe if you are listening. It helps out the pod massively. Any sort of engagement does just help us at the end of the day, and it makes us as individuals feel really good, and that'd be nice. If you are listening on other services, please feel free to subscribe and rate us. It means a lot and it helps the pod out massively. Let's move on to what I'm going to call the main bit of this episode, and let's go on to some rumor mills. Now, these rumor mills are some are more realistic than others, but we've all put together a list of some players which, after talking to Landstream a week, we feel that might be worth going after in the summer or trying to sign before next season going through. And I think we should go one at a time, go through them all nice and orderly, have a chat through them. Josh, do you want to choose a player to lead us off?
Yes, so mine are based off obviously the positions I think we need strengthening the most, one of which I think is potentially centre. So I've gone for Bryn Bradley because um, I had a look into it and it looked like he signed his first senior contract in 2023. And assuming that's a 2-year deal, that could be coming to an end at the end of this season. Obviously, if it's a 3-year deal, he'd be still on for another year. He's 6 foot free centre. Um, so he's only 21. He's really highly thought of. He's
Mm.
obviously played for Wales under 20s. He probably hasn't had the game time in the Premiership that he maybe would have hoped for over the last couple of seasons. So I think if he wanted a new challenge and he wanted to potentially get some more game time, I think Wales would be a good move for him. He not only is he big, he's also a very good ball player, good offloading game. So I think he'd be yeah, I think he'd suit us really well. It'd be another option at 12, which I think would be brilliant.
When he has played for Quins this season, he has looked very good. I think my issue with him is I think he's going to be lots of competition looking in for him. Just,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
imagine there's going to be competition from all the regions apart from maybe exactly Cardiff. But even
Yeah,
then, they can't help themselves to a flashy back.
yeah. Also, I could see Quinn's also wanting to keep hold of him because I think Lennox Anyanwu is maybe off to France. Rumours Stade Francais, is it? I don't know if it's official that, but if he is off, then they probably are looking to keep hold of Bryn Bradley and he'll get a bit more game time next season. But yeah, that's someone I'd be going
Good call.
after.
Good call.
He'd be a good signing, that.
Yeah, definitely.
Just hope he. Let's have a little hope of it. Nick, who's your first player?
Well, similarly, I think I totally agree with Josh. I think we need to strengthen the centres. Nothing against Owen and Keith, but I do think we need and Tom Florence coming
Mm.
through. Right, but I think it's an area we do need to look at. I've gone from a little bit the other end of the scale in that I've gone from Lalakai Foketi, Australian international with the Waratahs. I think he might be coming to the end of his contract. Obviously, it's a huge season, for Australia rugby. Uh, but if whether he, I suppose it's dependent whether he can force his way back into the Australian reckoning. If he can, well, probably he'd want to hang on then and try and get for the World Cup in Australia in just over 2 years' time. If he can't, I think he'd be a really good signing. I think he's 30, going on 31. I think he would bring that experience. I think he can play 12 and 13. That type of quality player, which the others then could aspire towards, especially the younger players. So yeah, so my player is Lalakai Foketi.
I just remember him being really good against, I think it was France when France toured there a few years ago. I'm just looking stand out like one of the best 13s in the world at the time. It's a shame he's dropped off a little bit, but he's still certainly a class player. And it's something that if we could get him, it'd be eye-catching, certainly. Certainly big name signing.
Yeah, especially if Australia look like they're going for Ikitau and Suwali, the new rugby league convert, as a centre combo. I could see him potentially looking to move abroad, move elsewhere, new
Mm.
challenge. And I think, as we've mentioned, sort of during international periods, players like that have immense quality. I think make a massive difference. I think it'd be a great signing.
Great shout. I do have a 13. A little out the box, though.
Nice.
It's a name that may have been relevant about 10 years ago, and most people in Wales have heard of him. It's Tyler Morgan.
I like that. Yeah.
He's been playing quite a lot for Biarritz recently, had a really good season in the Pro Liga as Biarritz look to go for a promotion chance again. he's just seemed. I think he's out of contract end of this year, and just seems like a solid option. Quite frankly,
Yeah.
his issue in the past has obviously been his injuries. He's never been fit enough really to get value out of him. But coming out of the Pro Day Dirt off a good season, playing for a pretty decent Biarritz side, I don't see is as much of a risk. 'Cause he's not going to be particularly expensive. He's not going to be particularly high commitment. As someone coming in as a second choice to Owen, or even a third choice to Boshoff if he stays on, it can only be a positive signing, I think, and I think it helps. I don't think he'll be mind going back to Wales either.
And he's used to beach life in Biarritz, so Swansea ticks that box as well.
Exactly. He's only 29 as well. I can't believe he's only 29.
Well,
Looks
he
like
was
he's
so
been around
young,
for
wasn't he, when he
You,
started? When
I mean,
since the World
2015 World
Cup.
Cup.
Yeah.
2015 World Cup. I remember there's a news story about him picking up his A levels out of World Cup camp, which is like, Jesus Christ. I get we are going for an injury crisis of all injury crises, but like, come on, man.
Well, it shows how highly he was thought of at that age. Just
Yeah.
hasn't had much luck with injuries.
To be fair, he's still an ex-Wales international. I think he got his most recent cap in 2021.
Right, okay.
I'm pretty sure it was in that weird COVID tour where Argentina and Canada played at the Principality under Pivac. I think he started against Canada and got a score or an assist or something. Looks
That's who we should
okay.
be playing. We should be playing Canada again. Let's get some big wins.
Did you on that topic, the Wales have well, they've just announced the autumn fixtures.
Have they?
Yeah. So
Okay, who we got?
we got Argentina up first.
Okay.
So that's winnable. And then we got Japan.
I thought we'd have a replay against them,
Yeah.
a rematch against them.
Yeah, so that could be the unofficial next test. And then a nice game against New Zealand. Uh
Oh yeah.
build some
Bring the money in.
confidence.
Yeah.
And then finishing off against South Africa. So we've got an out of test game as well, out of test window game where we'll probably be missing half our squad for, which would be great.
Another out of test game against South Africa.
Well, it's not as if they're very good.
Only,
Yeah, exactly. So the players will be coming off the back against a game against New Zealand and South Africa, full of confidence, I'm sure.
There we are. I suppose in those sort of games, because they're so much higher than us in the ranking, it's not going to have any relevance. The big games there will be Argentina and Japan, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of glad we got the harder games last as well, so we
Yeah,
can get a little bit of cohesion
yeah,
then and build a bit of
agreed.
confidence going into those final two.
it
Yeah,
always felt that during Pivac's stint, we'd always start off against the All Blacks with an out of test fixture. It would just ruin us for the autumn going forward.
yeah.
It's just unhelpful. It's nice to see it the other way around, it must be said. I think let's get slightly back on topic because I think that's three options for 13
Yeah.
covered off pretty well there. I think I'm going to go back round to you, Josh. And who is your second player that you're recommending?
Okay, so I'm going for a kind of 12-13 hybrid, mainly a 12. Bit smaller than Brent Bradley, but I really like an Iron Owen. I've been so impressed with him at the Dragons. He's only 24 years old, and it feels like he's already been around for ages. He's already captained the Dragons. He signed a new long-term contract in 2022. So assuming that was a
Hmm.
3-year contract, it would mean he'd be out of contract now. Um, depends how you define long term. It's so hard to work out how long some of these contracts are going to be. But if he was out of contract, he'd be exactly the type of player I'd absolutely love to have at the Ospreys.
He seems like he fits. He's probably a more natural 12 to the system we're going to try and play, I imagine, under Mark Jones than Keith. I
Yeah.
mean, Keith's been awesome in recent weeks. And I guess especially against Powell, he was really showing off his, no, Benetton, he was really showing off his distribution skills and how underrated they are.
Yeah.
But having a natural distributor in that role will give us maybe more options. I don't see Anara Aaron getting him to a Wales squad anytime soon, personally. Feel like as a guy who can be there all year round and as a solid URC level player, Couldn't he be a positive?
Yeah, I'd like to see him just with a pack who's going to have a little bit of go forward and at least parity because he looks good in a Dragon side who are constantly going backwards. I'd love to see what he'd look like in an Osprey shirt.
I think with him being a local boy, though, I think and obviously Dragons are hoping to improve, and going to they've already committed to make some signings. I think we do well to lure him away from them because he is a local boy, so I think that wouldn't go down well at all with the Dragons fans. So, but I like it. There's no
Yeah.
problem with it. Yeah,
Don't tell Jamie.
no, don't tell Jamie.
I'm going to give my second player, who I think is everyone's fan favorite, of also an out of contract this summer that has been tearing it up as late. And that's Sam de Pom, Sam Davies. It's time for him to come home. It's time for him to come home. He's been shit hot in the Pro Diddler.
Yeah.
And Francisco Isaac on Blue Sky has been documenting it daily. It feels like constantly giving us highlight packages of Sam Davis tearing shit up. And I think it'd be a great sign to go alongside Dan Edwards. And given that Owens reported as leaving, I think it
Mm.
just fits really nicely as an experienced 10 who can come in and help Dan learn the reins.
Yeah.
I'll go next then if that's okay. I'd be more than happy that. But I've gone on a similar sort of similar sort of route, and I've gone from a gentleman called Daniel Bigger.
Who?
Uh, Obviously, Dan's very much at the end of his career, but I think he kicked a drop goal to win the match for Toulon on Sunday night. Uh, he would be what a fantastic uh, use for Dan Edwards. Somebody could just come in for the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes games, cover some of the matches. Then when Dan's hopefully going to be in the Welsh squad, and if he only did a job for us for 12 months, and then let's get him into the coaching setup. From what I know, I think his wife is from the area and he's probably still got his house down the Gower. So, yeah, bring back Dan if Sam can't come.
We
Yeah,
just have both.
I'd absolutely love those signings to be fair. My only problem is with Sam Davis, I think I'm just reading he's signed a new contract in January that lasts until 2028.
Never mind. I'm very sad now. That's ruined
Yeah,
my evening.
I'd,
You
I'd,
settle for Dan Bigger.
yeah, I'd 100% love Dan Bigger as well. But I was listening to another podcast this week, a less good podcast about rugby this week, and
Right.
they asked him if he'd be interested in going into coaching, and he seemed less than keen, if I'm honest.
Did he? Did he?
He said it doesn't pay as well as playing, and it's a lot more
Yeah.
stressful.
Right.
So I think
I,
he likes sitting back and
yeah.
talking about rugby. But it'd still be a feasible signing for a one year contract playing wise. I'd absolutely love to see it. I think he's exactly the kind of player we need.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's a shame he doesn't get into coaching because his punditry is really quite good.
Oh, exceptional.
When he's been on ITV, it's been great. The bits he's been doing for the Unnamed Pod standalone have been even better because I don't need to listen to the members of the Unnamed Pod.
I think I know
I,
what you mean.
I was going to say, he did a piece on the Island's attack, looking forward
Yeah.
to the Lions the other day, and that was just a really good watch. Really quite
I
interesting.
saw I saw that as well.
Oh yeah. No, I'd love, yeah, especially Dan Edwards to be learning off him for a season. I think that'd be amazing. It'd be awesome.
I do like how we've all identified as tens or playmakers and distributors as such as a position of need, and it's certainly something I think would be helpful with Owen gone. 10-12 hybrid, who's from the region would be great. It's a shame we pissed off Joe Hawkins, but
Yeah. Yeah. But it hasn't really turned out that well for him, has it, Exeter?
No,
it's had a torrid time.
Oh,
I think he just doesn't get on with Baxter, which, I understand it.
yeah. Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
let's move on to one more round through. I think a position we've all identified as well is tight head. Shocker. Rugby club needs a good tight head.
Yeah.
But I think we've all put some names forward. Nick, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I don't know an awful lot about him, but my call is Mornay Smith from the Bulls, tight head. From what I understand, he might be coming towards the end of his contract. I don't think South African players, when they play in South Africa, unless they're real big names, are on huge money. Obviously, the cost of living there is cheaper, but so hopefully he's the type of player anyway that we could attract. He's 27, so he's coming into his prime
Mm.
a tight head prop. And from what I understand, if I've read, he's never been, or certainly recently hasn't been part of any of these South African alignment squads, which Rassie pulls from time to time, where they bring about 40, 50, 60 players in. So he's from what I understand, he's out of that sort of group. So that potentially makes him maybe want to consider a good payday away from South Africa. So yeah, so my call there is Mornay Smith, but it's more, as you quite rightly suggested, that both has been a fantastic signing,
Mm.
hasn't he? And I think he's got at least another 12 months in, but obviously he's coming to the end of his career, so it's definitely something we need to support Ben Warren's development and Reece
Mm.
Henry when he's back
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, so a tight head prop and Mornay Smith is my name.
Josh, do you have a tight head in mind?
I haven't gone for a South African tight head, and I don't think you can go far wrong with a South African tight head. They're usually very good, and that's a
Yeah.
perfect age to be picking one up as well. So I'd be very happy with that one. I did go down the Welsh route again, though. If we can try and get Dylan Lewis back to Wales, I know he's a less strong scrummaging tight head historically. I'm hoping, having worked under Adam Jones, he'll have got a lot stronger in that area. Um, he's been a bit unlucky of injuries this season with Quins. I think he's brilliant around the field. He's only 29. It feels like he's older than that because he's been around a long time. I think 29's
Mm.
prime age for a prop. Um, and also he has a really, really good Instagram page where him and his missus produce really funny videos. And I'd like to see those funny videos in Swansea. So, I'm not saying that's why we should sign him, but it's definitely a contributing factor for me.
Okay.
Never been the biggest fan of
No.
Dylan Lewis, but I can certainly see the appeal. I haven't watched enough Quins this season or last season, even to see how he's got on. I know he's not really been starting that much when he has been fit, which may entice him to come back to Wales at Wimbledon Day, especially if it gives him a chance of getting back into the Wales squad, which he's getting not the best looking at the moment, it must be said. I can certainly see it happening. I don't know if he's quite the one though. I'm not his biggest fan. He's too Cardiffy.
Who have you got?
Uh, I have gone for current Romania starting prop Gregory Guy John out of Pro Day because
Right.
former Ospreys props been here before, did a job, but I think it's something that it's a sort of player
I thought we
we should be looking for. I feel like when we got Dimitri Arhip, that was a great steal out of I think it was a Russian league or something, where he picked up Arhip and he was just turns one of the best tight heads in the league. And I feel like we can go out and look for an Eastern European tight head, Georgian, Moldovan, Romanian, Russian, who can just come in and do a job at scrum for 20 minutes at the end of each game.
Yeah, good call.
And it's just someone who can help come in and develop our boys as scrummagers at the end of the day. And I think that's the sort of player we should be looking for.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember when he was at Ospreys. He was
Yeah,
enormous. I'm looking at his stats now. He's 6'3" and 20 stone. That's a
big boy.
decent sized prop, isn't it?
big
Yeah.
boy,
How old is he?
Um, 30,
32.
32, so
Oh,
that's not bad.
no, too
Gonna
young.
say
Fine.
he's still got another 5 years in him as a tight head,
Yeah.
probably.
If I'm allowed, can I throw somebody else in as
Go on,
well
man.
in the same position? I'd be very happy if Thomas Francis came back as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I know he's injured at the moment. I think he's been injured since well before Christmas, and I suppose it's also dependent if Provence get promoted and so on. But if they don't, he's had his 2 years in the sun. He might want to come and have a slightly different climate back in South Wales.
I'd love that as a signing. I think he was brilliant for us. And that was kind of back in the days when Toby Booth first came in and was like, right, we're gonna have we're gonna have two world-class, like really top quality front rows. We had Gareth
Yeah,
Thomas, Nicky Smith, Bofa, and Francis. Kind of both dovetailing. So I'd love that as a signing. If we could get him back, that'd be
But
amazing.
no, yeah, that would be probably the tight heads. I don't think you can go wrong. To
Mm.
be honest, it'd be a great pickup. It'd be a coup. Nice to get him back in Wales and hopefully involved in the Wales setup.
that's right. You might want to consider, his last hurrah in the 2027 World Cup. That would be a nice lead in, wouldn't it? He'd still be
I don't even think he's that old at the moment. I think
he's
he's
about 31, 32, I think now.
he's 32. He's still got another 4 years in him. Remember though.
Yes, yeah.
Be a great signing, and it means we can keep the Ospreys Exeter core at its core. I will go out for one more ask of any names, of any wild cards you guys think might have a chance or would be interesting in bring over.
Uh,
Um, do you want to go first, Nick?
I haven't got any else.
Oh, no worries. I got the only other one I had was Regan Grace,
Oh yeah,
who's obviously local to the
yeah,
area from Port Talbot, from
yeah.
Australia. Signed short-term contract with Cardiff. Been so unlucky with injuries since he's come over from rugby league. His rugby league highlights reel is immense. I'd love to see us take a shot on him, and fingers crossed he can just stay fit. So yeah, if he can show what he can do for Cardiff towards the end of the season, I think it'd be another strong pickup.
Good call.
I think the one issue with Regan Grace is obviously his injury record.
Yeah,
Like, when did you sign? He came to rugby union, what, 3 years ago now?
yeah,
Didn't play for Racing, played twice at Bath, played 20 minutes of rugby for Cardiff before doing a head knock, and it's just he feels not cursed, but just like perennially unlucky.
yeah,
It just feels unfortunately destined to fail, which is really quite sad for what a bright talent he is.
yeah.
I think that's it for our rumor mill. Feel free to jump into the comments and name anyone you think would be a realistic and good signing for us. If I see anyone say Anton Dupont, I'll refer you to the Scarlet's forums. But it'd be really good to hit some on what the community feels because it'd be great to hear out from you guys. Let's finish up then and have a quick look ahead to Wales v Ireland and Wales in general because it's nice to not have such a hectic week in Welsh rugby, must be said. And I'm quietly looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I think just as we alluded to, just having some fresh voices there, hopefully some better attacking play. I'd be interested to see what happens to Dan, and where he fits into that. But we'll see. Uh, Gareth is, hopefully going to be starting. Uh, yeah, so see how it
Yeah.
goes. They've got nothing to lose, have they?
I do have nothing to lose. I've seen today that Caelan Doris has been ruled out for Wales game, which is good news because it means Ireland don't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. They're missing Kelleher, Furlong, Doris, but they've only got Sheehan, Beelum, and Jack Conan's come in. So yeah, they're really
yeah,
scraping the barrel.
yeah. But
Yeah, it's all right. They are literally starting James Ryan, which we are missing out on British and Irish line, Adam Beard, but that's a later issue. I don't know. I feel like something funny is going to happen. I just have a small sensation that I could see it happening. I could see us doing a job
Okay.
in the jammiest way possible. I'm thinking second minute red card.
Okay.
No, no one else is this confident.
I mean,
I'm shocked.
I put 50p on Wales to win the Triple Crown at 100-1. So
You
there's an
know,
outside shot. If we beat Ireland, enough momentum to then beat Scotland and then England at home. It's easy game.
triple jam. I think it's time for the triple jam to get out. I don't know. I'm quietly excited, and I think most people there's
Yeah.
a sense of optimism in Welsh rugby for the first time in what's felt like ages, which is nice. Just
Yeah. I think there'll be a better atmosphere amongst the Welsh fans going into the game than there would have been if it was still Gatland and
yeah,
Howley taking the lead.
certainly excited to see what Matt Sherritt can do. To be honest,
Yeah.
even if it is just Cardiff light or Cardiff with Jack Morgan, which might solve a lot of their issues. To be fair,
Yeah.
but
I don't have a problem. I think the issue would for me become if it's and that's where when regional coaches have taken over longer term, that's where it becomes a potential issue. But for 3 games in such a short period, I fully understand going down that route as Gatland did when he started and picked almost virtually the Osprey team.
yeah, but they were good,
Yeah, that is true.
which I think helped a little bit. I think it's a quick score prediction. The more friendly it is to Wales, the better I'll feel about you two as people. I definitely won't hold it against you. Josh, you want to bring us in?
Yeah, Wales by 4.
Okay, so strong to Wales, not unrealistic. I don't see it by 4. I see it by 1. I see it where conversion charge down to win the game in the 80th minute. Or
Okay. Well, I unfortunately some people might have heard. They might be very unfortunate to have watched and maybe even heard me last night in the wrap. So I've got to go with the same score, and this isn't going to please you at all. It's 42-19 to Ireland.
I don't see Ireland getting 40. We haven't put 40 on someone in ages.
Actually, I defend. Actually, that's probably. I've got my third chance tomorrow night on the Welsh
Yeah.
spot, so I might be feeling more optimistic by Thursday. Thursday night, actually, when I see the team, so that will help.
I don't know if that will help actually. But
Until you see Ben Thomas back at 10, and then it'll be
Yeah,
oh,
that'd be hilarious.
you've jinxed it now. I think we shall call it there, gents. It's been a pleasure having you on. It's been a great chat. Thank you everyone for listening. It's been fun here. Hope you all have a good week, and let's all hope that Wales do well this weekend, as I don't think we can all sit for another loss like that. Good night, everyone.
Good night. No star.